na nasilip ko yung ibang mga films eh. Second, I think mas marami kaming audiences this year because of the support that we've gotten from the media. Mas maganda ang publicity.
Every year is special, but this year is more special, I guess, because it's a milestone. It's our fifth year, so parang first milestone. So we didn't expect that it would, grow and grow and reach its fifth year. So parang we have to celebrate it. Kaya special.
The Cinemalaya fame is enough for the crowd to brave the stormy weather just to participate in the Big Small Film Festival opening. The filmmakers made their grand entrance at the main theater lobby. As usual, 20 films will compete in this year's Cinemalaya, 10 of which are for the short film category. A short film is a film that has a duration of over 1 minute but less than 15 minutes. They usually serve as a showcase for the skills of the film director and cinematographer. As short films often focus on difficult topics which longer films tend to avoid, they are the epitome of Cinemalaya. The other 10, on the other hand, will compete at the full-length category. Those who want to join the Cinemalaya must pass their screenplay to the Cinemalaya Foundation. When their screenplay is selected, they receive a seed grant so they can start production of their films. And now, for the first time, the public will get to see the filmmaker's vision come alive in the big screen. All I could say is, with these films, this year's quest for the coveted balanghay will be tough.
I don't want to preempt anything kasi mas gusto ko talaga na panoorin kasi sometimes hindi mo masasabi yung hindi mo ine-expect gustong-gusto nila. So I leave it up to the viewing public.
The competition is a piece of resistance of the Cinemalaya Indie Film Festival. There are lots of other activities included at the Film Fest.
For the first time, we're having NetPac Award. We formalized this year the Philippine Premiere Night, where non-competing Cinemalaya films that are premiering at Cinemalaya will be given award, a NetPac Award, which is a prestigious award. We also have the Kids Treats, which is selection of films for children. And we are also giving special awards for that during the awards night.
Other avid supporters of the Cinemalaya also made an appearance at the opening.
I know that Cinemalaya is already in its fifth year, and definitely the turnout tonight, in spite of the inclement weather, has been very encouraging. I know that Cinemalaya attracts a lot of people all the time, and definitely it is a worthy project of the CCP and of course the Cinemalaya Foundation to stage this kind of festival because it promotes the talents of our young movie makers.
The first 4 years, we were very proud of the films that have been produced. Some of them have won awards abroad. This year's crop promises not one film stands out on top of the other, so they're all equally ranked in terms of quality and production.
The crowd is in for a treat. As the opening film of the festival is directed by two of the most promising young filmmakers in the Philippines, they are Direct Raya Martin and Adolf Alix Jr. Entitled Manila, the film is about their tribute to two of the most influential Filipino filmmakers, Ishmael Bernal and Lino Broca.
Given the 17th day of July 2009,
the film stars Piolo Pascual, one of the hottest actors in the Philippine film industry.
Sobrang masaya ako sa feeling ko ngayon na palabas yung pelikula at good yung response ng mga nakapanood.
I feel thankful kasi I started with Cinemalaya. Parang people know naman my first film is Don Sol, which is also part of Cinemalaya. So I'm very happy in a way na parang every year I'm also still part of Cinemalaya. So I'm very thankful na for the past 2 years they chose my films to open Cinemalaya.
The
Don't go away, there's more to come when the red carpet returns. Other than the competition, another major event in Cinemalaya is the Film Congress. Already in its 5th year, the Film Congress has definitely made its mark in the Philippine film industry.
Since 2005, 20 indie films, 10 full-length, and 10 short films compete for the coveted Balanghay at the Cinemalaya. These films are the heart of the Big Small Film Festival, pulling lots of crowds who fall in line to watch them. But the competition is not just a jam-packed event at the Cinemalaya. Also part of the Indie Film Fest is the Cinemalaya Congress.
Yung Congress has been part of Cinemalaya from the very start. Kasi we view it as an integral part of the festival. Kasi the idea is, while we encourage filmmakers to create original films, there also must be a forum for them to reflect on the films that are being made, to discuss among themselves and with their audiences the problems, the prospects, best practices in indie filmmaking. The idea really is to help consolidate also parang unity among indie filmmakers so that they are able to help each other out in terms of production, exhibition, distribution of their films.
And like any Cinemalaya event, it also has many attendees, most of which aspire to become filmmakers as well.
Kasi this is an academic requirement then for our part, no? So, parang in line lang with whatever we're discussing in our classes right now. Parang we want to see for ourselves if medyo tugma naman sa nakukuha namin from our professor.
Very good. Katulad nung normal naman na concept na pag indie film, mas mababa yung tingin, and they're addressing the situations not idealistically.
Part of awareness as a youth, kasi syempre, di ba, yung mga independent films na to, they show films that are socially relevant. And in our part, it's like, minumulat namin yung sarili namin. So kung ano ba talaga yung nasa society. And parang ito yung mediating factor between the youth and the filmmakers.
Related to sa course namin, I'm the chairman of the University of Makati Film Society. Kaya gusto ko malaman yung mga agenda nila ngayong taon.
Like its parent festival, the Congress is also successful and in its 5th year.
Ang nakikita namin every year, dumadami yung participants. So this is aimed especially at schools that have film courses or mass comm courses. And I think talagang daming natututuhan ng mga bata from just exposure to the filmmakers.
Entitled Linking Digital Highways, the Congress seeks to assess the output of indie filmmakers in the last 5 years.
We decided to see a bigger perspective, in terms of space. So, linking digital highways. And ang dami na palang mga digital filmmakers all over the country, sa Luzon, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. And maybe it's time that we ask them to talk about what they have achieved so far. Also to assess the achievements of indie film in the last 5 years as a prelude to perhaps establishing a network para magkatulungan yung mga filmmakers from all over the country. And I think that's going to be the start of something even more productive.
Congress has invited numerous luminaries in the Indie Film Festival of the Philippines to share what they have learned to a new crop of filmmakers.
Experience ko is more about doing international co-production. So para ma-share ko experiences ko from an international standpoint, coming from an independent filmmaker, coming from the Philippines, pati kung paano yung mga process namin of doing co-productions.
Other than educating young filmmakers, The Congress also wants to establish a network of indie filmmaking centers all over the Philippines.
It's really the networking. Ang end nito is really, the last session is talking about a possible network for indie filmmakers from all over the country. And the idea is really so that they can help each other out.
The Cinemalaya Film Congress was held at the Tanghalang Aurelio Tolentino, more commonly known as the Little Theater. It's right there behind me. There's nothing little about it though. In fact, it has the capacity to seat over 400 people. Did you miss out on any of the events that happened at the Cultural Center of the Philippines last July? Well, you're in luck because we're about to give you what's up at the Cultural Center of the Philippines.
The irrational fear of the number 13 is called Triskaidekaphobia. But the Cultural Center of the Philippines proves that there is nothing to fear from the number 13. As a matter of fact, they just chose 13 young artists. They believe that these 13 embodies the future of visual arts in the Philippines.
The 13 Artists Award is a triennial event that honors young artists for their particular innovative visions and freshness of visual language.
This mouth-watering ice cream cake is not for dessert. As a matter of fact, this is a trophy that the artist received. Each and every one represent various styles of visual arts, from art installations to paintings, from drawings to short films. And everyone is very grateful to be included into the Lucky 13.
More than anything else, it's a blessing for me because to be considered as a progressive artist, someone who thinks out of the box, it's really a compliment.
I'm really excited about being included in the 13 artists kasi originally I'm not part of this circle. It's very visual arts and I come from cinema.
Masaya, syempre. Happy. Parang okay lahat ng pinagpaguran mo, parang it kind of pays off.
Yung 13 artists po ay isang napaka-importanteng recognition at validation ng society para i-recognize ka bilang isang importanteng artist ng panahon mo.
Overwhelmed siguro kasi napaka-prestigious ng award na to, ng event na to.
Masaya. May nagtiwala, may naniniwala rin sa ginagawa.
Masaya dahil binigyan kami ng pagkakataon para ipakita yung mga ginagawa namin.
Katrin de Guia is one proud mama when she received the award on behalf of her son, Kawayan, who couldn't make it that night.
I'm really proud of him. It's a nice moment and I'm really happy and I'm proud of him and I think he deserves it. He worked very hard since he's a child.
Like Katrin, CCP is really proud of its current 13 artists.
This piece,
Sa tingin kong
we are really very happy that this 2009 selection first of all reflects the diversity of art making now. Unlike in the past wherein the 13 artists was really more about specific art movements, no? I think it's also telling us that art is really growing diversely, but the engagements are getting more, gaining a wider reach.
What is a woman of substance? Is a woman of substance extraordinary?
Para sa akin, yung
women of substance, actually pag sinasabi nga nila parang iniisip lang nila yung positive point nga nung babae, no? Sa akin, ang women of substance, ito talaga yung nadaanan nila yung full circle, eh. Whether from the lowest point of their lives and yung pag-angat nila, yung pagka-multifaceted ng isang babae.
Para sa akin naman, ang woman of substance is isang taong loving and nurturing, hindi lang bilang isang ina, kundi bilang isang tao.
Is a woman of substance complicated?
For me, a woman of substance is someone who, despite trials and difficulties in life, she will always survive because she is basically intrinsically strong. Hindi siya bibigay. Diba? Kahit na anong dagok ng tadhana or reversal of fortune, she will still be herself, her strong self, because maybe for reasons, she has a family, she has children, but for herself, she will have to survive.
Is a woman of substance passionate?
Particularly in Madonna Brava, which is based on Mother Courage, she is a woman of substance, definitely Mother Courage, because she protects her family from war. She lives on war. She's supposed para siyang parasite, eh. Supposedly she doesn't like war, but she lives on it. That's the reason why she survives.
The season is about women of substance. So Blanche Dubois has always been a very strong woman. Sabi nga kanina, medyo talunan siya, pero ang feeling ko as a director, she's not.
These questions are what Tanghalang Pilipino, the resident theater company of the Cultural Center of the Philippines, tries to answer in its 23rd season. And to bring women of substance to life on stage, they gathered a perfect mix of award-winning thespians, writers, and directors.
Maglangoy tayo doon sa malapit sa may lumang tibagan ng bote.
Tanghalang Pilipino's 23rd season promises to be a success. Boasting of music fresh off the composer's pen, music under construction, hearing the future symphonic is a part of CCP's indie celebrations.
Yung music under construction ay project namin sa Metro Manila Community Orchestra. And this is the fourth year of this project. This is basically calling composers, art music composers, to write for orchestra. This time it's going to be for orchestra and chorus. So ito yung mga bagong likhang mga musika na ipe-perform. Hindi siya competition, pero siya ay tinatawagan lahat yung mga composers para makapagsulat for orchestra. Ang sa Pilipinas kasi bihira yung venue for composers na magsulat, especially for classical composers, and this is, I think, the only venue for them.
We're lucky because we get to take a peek at the rehearsals of Metro Manila Community Orchestra. Members of the orchestra are excited as this is the world premiere of these fresh pieces.
They're unique.